past few weeks, I've had some opportunity to hunt for comics. Got some mail calls in, and I even had a chance to go to my LCS where they were having a signing. Hey, this is James from Read More Comics. As I said in the intro, the past couple weeks I have built up some books, and I was waiting for a moment. There was one more thing that I got in today I wanted to share, so we're just going to kind of dive in and go through it. To begin with, my LCS had a signing a few weeks ago. We had a local con, and because it was right near the end of the school year, I wasn't going to be able to go. But my LCS the Saturday before had a signing with a local artist, local like he lives in the state of Indiana, who came in, and he was doing art. You know, he was doing some sketches for some customers. He had some prints, and he was doing a signing for an exclusive book, My LCS Buy Me Toys in beautiful Mishawaka, Indiana. Had what's the word I'm looking for? They had put out last year. Okay, so I'm not big into this particular title. I just thought it was a cool homage, and the fact my LCS was putting it out meant it would be something that I was going to go for. Okay, so last year they put out, and this was Archie Comics did this, a one-shot called Archie Meets Jay and Silent Bob. And so here is... This right here is my LCS. They're exclusive. It's done by Gavin Smith. And so I got this signed. Okay, and this like is the storefront for my LCS Buy Me Toys. You can see it right here. This is what it looks like. Okay, so I got this signed. And I was pretty jazzed about that because I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it to the con. Let me put this over here. And while I was there, he had some books he had done covers for, and then he had some prints. Well, there was a book I saw, and I went, well, that's an awesome book, but I didn't want to pay $20 for a variant cover for a book I'm not going to collect. I'm not going to read it. I just liked the cover, but he had the prints for these. Okay, and he ended up, got him down here, he ended up doing 3 for $40, which I thought was a really fair deal compared to 1 for $20. Sorry, that's my dog. So here was the print. I think that's a good angle, and you can see right down here he signed it. So I love Conan the Barbarian, and because H.P. Lovecraft is in that generation, and if you've read any of the pulp stuff, you know Cthulhu and that mythos kind of overlaps. So he had a handler who ended up being his wife, was like, well, we'll do 3 for $40. And I went, well, how could I turn that down? That's such a deal, right? So I got this one. Sorry, I just bumped my mic. And then I was flipping through what he had, and he had Spawn, and he signed it. I thought that was a pretty sick Spawn. And this one, there was another one that in hindsight I would have liked. He had this Skeletor one that was sick, but I went with this instead because I saw it first. So he'll be back. So we have Predator and Gavin Smith right down there at the bottom. So those were the 3 prints I got, and because I also had to, and this is weird, Walmart is the local big box store. They have, these are 17 by 14 prints, or 11. No, it looks like 14. I could just literally look at the box. Anyway, they don't carry them in the store, so that frustrated me. I had to purchase them on their website, and I had to wait. So it worked out that the money I might have spent going to the con, I ended up buying frames for these. I got this handy box which will protect them because right now I have a lot of art already up. I haven't decided which prints I'm going to take down, but I have a place to store them until I'm occupying a larger room in the house, which is the plan. Okay, So let me put that over there. And I'm making sure the prints are in a safe place away from my dog. I happen to go to Half Price Books, the town right next door. It's about 20 minutes away. Same town that my LCS Buy Me Toys is in. They have a Whole Foods, which for those of you not in the United States, it's kind of like Amazon's grocery store. And you can return things to Amazon for free. So my wife had some returns that she needed me to do, and I graciously said, hey, I'll do this, knowing that there's a Half Price Books like 2 blocks away, and I'll go look through their comics. And so I ended up getting 3 comics, and one of them is worthy of being in the top loader. We'll look at that in a moment. Let's do it backwards. So the first one, this is Supergirl issue number 31. This is the new 52 run, so I'm not sure what volume that is. Here we go. Now, this is one of these quirky collector books. I'm not a huge Supergirl fan. I have nothing against the character, but it's not my cup of tea. Okay. Though I have a multitude of Supergirl books for other reasons. I talked about in a video just over the weekend where I anchor my collection, and one of the quirky things that I collect is the first appearances or the appearances of super pets. Not the really obvious ones like Crypto or Ace the Bat Hound. Those are easy. That's low-hanging fruit. This is an appearance of Dexter, the cat Red Lantern. So I ended up getting this. They had the whole Red Daughter, and I thought this was a really cool idea. I almost picked up all the books for this, and I might go back. I don't know. But Red Daughter, the concept is Supergirl became a Red Lantern, which to me, again, not a Supergirl fan. I'm not a hater. You know, I'm going to go see the Supergirl movie, right? But as someone who isn't actively engaged in Supergirl mythos, what I know about her, it kind of makes sense that she became a Red Lantern. Like, I don't know why that's not a thing still. Anyway, so this is a book I've been looking for, an appearance of Dexter, the cat Red Lantern. And he really is a domesticated house cat who, and if you have a cat, it makes sense. He rages for a reason. It's a horrific, heart-rending story. Seriously. But he rages, becomes a Red Lantern. Okay. So we got this, and I need to put this over here. I've been organizing my den, and I have stuff about. It's not terrible, but I have stuff. And then I was actually there looking for, it was the Brainiac Queen Superman story. Okay, it took place right before Absolute Power. So this would have been early last year, the year before. And I went, well, Half Price Books will probably have these. I want to read this story because it's coming up. It's kind of seeded in other comics I'm currently reading. I want to go back and read this. I heard good things. And they didn't have it, but as I'm flipping through their Superman books, they did have, and this is a pretty clean copy. I mean, I would say looking at it, if it got a clean and a press, it's a VF. Maybe on a good day, near mint minus, maybe. I mean, it has a non-color breaking spine tick. The corners are okay, though. The corner down here is a little mushy. And I can see there's a crease, but it's not color breaking. So we have Superman, the Man of Steel, issue number 19, all the way back from 1993. So this is a $2 book, right? That's how much I paid for it. But if it's in immaculate condition, it's more than that. And this is a key, you know. We have these two guys facing off. Doomsday. I totally skipped out on his name. I'm feeling really on the other side of middle age right now. So Doomsday and Superman. First appearance of Doomsday. First full appearance. I'm sorry. There were like 3 or 4 cameos before this. So I got that. I was pretty jazzed about that. I'm going like, oh, that's a pretty good deal. And then if you haven't been in Half Price Books, they have these bins that have an acrylic top, and it has a slot about the size of a mail slot, so you can kind of flick through it, but you can't take a book out. And as I'm flicking through it, I saw something and I went, wait a minute, I'm looking for that book. It's not like something I'm actively looking for, but in CLZ, it's on my wish list. This is a title that has meaning to me because I grew up watching this. It was a live action show back in the 70s on Saturdays. So this is Shazam issue number 1. Here we go. So this was $10. Looking at the condition, let me take it out of this right here. You can see it has some, it's not foxing because you can't, I don't know if you'll be able to make it out, but it's like there was something, I'm going to borrow this book. Let's put it just like this. It's like there was a book on top of it, just like this. So if you look across the top and down the side, I'm sorry, this side, you see it's about 1/4 inch of this shadow foxing. There's no, it's off-white pages, which is kind of not exceptional. There's some stains here and there. If this was cleaned and pressed, though, it might be in really nice shape. This was a $10 book for me at Half Price Books, so I'm pretty happy with this pickup. You know, this might be something I get cleaned and pressed. Maybe I send it in for grading. I don't know. Like, I'm a big fan of CBCS. I liked the quality control they had over CGC, and I'm not going to go into why. Look it up online. Anyway, and I don't know enough about PSA if I want to go that route. So, but I'm happy to pick this up because Shazam was my boyhood hero. That and Spider-Man because he was on Electric Company. So, I had a chance to, I think it was a part of this. I had some time, and there is a flea market that is about 35 minutes away from my house, but it was 15 minutes away from Half Price Books. So I went to this town next door to return some things, to run some errands, and then I went to the flea market because it's like, well, it's only 15 minutes away. The last I'd been there, there were several vendors selling comic books. Well, get up. You can. Come on. I'm sorry. My dog is having some drama. I have 2 dogs. My little dog, his name's Opie, he's laying on the floor. And he's in the way of my big dog who wants to get into her chair. She totally could. Come on. Come on. Jack, get up here. Go on. Get. You can do it. John, come on. Come on, get up there. Okay, maybe she doesn't. We're having dog drama. Okay. Here you go. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that. She didn't want up in her chair. She wants to lay on the floor, and there's a spot on the floor over here that she always lays in, and so now she's laying there. The thing is, it's right next to my chair, and if I move my chair, she's going to get up. So I'm going to try to be over on this side and hold the books over here. So I went to this flea market. It's an indoor flea market. As flea markets go, it's pretty top rate. There's a lot of vendors there. It seemed like the prices are competitive. They used to have 2 solid comic book vendors there. One was like super organized, and this guy would do local cons and things like that. And then there's this other guy, and he has a lot of books, but his organization makes no sense. Like, it's kind of alphabetical, but then it's not suddenly. It's like you'll have a A and a B and a C and a D short box, and then suddenly it's M. And so it took me a while to get through it. The really good vendor, he was gone, which disappointed me, but it wasn't a waste of travel because I got some books. And these ended up being think when I price them out, they're about $2 and change. And at this point, it's becoming the new normal. While dollar books are awesome, it's usually $2 to $3 books. It is what it is now. Okay. So one book, this first one, was something I was looking for my 2026 goal. We have Justice League Dark, Volume 1, issue number 38. Okay, and it's in really nice shape. There's an LCS that sells books online. They were selling this for like $6, so I paid two for this. Okay. Most of the books, there was a couple that were over $3, but if you average them out, they're like $2 and change. So we got this. Let me put that over there. And then we have Superman, Lois, and Clark, issue number 6 and issue number 7. And this is for those people that are not fans of DC Comics or Superman. This is near the end of New 52 insignia right here. Okay. Which is when I began collecting comic books as an adult. Not at the beginning of it. This is near the end. They had an event called Convergence, and what came out in that was that Brainiac was storing all of these people in these alternate timelines, all these superheroes, and so they came out. It was an interesting event. They'd have like these 2-shot comic books for Aquaman and Batman and all this, and a lot of them are throwbacks to pre-New 52. So there was like Shadow of the Bat, and there was Shazam, and there was Swamp Thing, and these were all throwbacks, right? So anyway, they had Convergence Superman, which is the first appearance of Jonathan Kent as a baby in issue number 2. Okay, this miniseries right here presented that in the DC continuity at the time, there were 2 Supermen, 2 Clark Kents, because after the Convergence event, everybody else was sucked away into their timeline or something like that. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while since I read it. Okay, except for Clark Kent and his wife Lois Lane, who were married in this alternate timeline. So they were in normal DC continuity. And this miniseries was about them hiding out. He wore a black suit. He sported a beard and a mustache. You know, he was doing Superman things, but on the down low, because he didn't want the normal Superman in continuity to know. And the normal Superman was not the it wasn't the pre-New 52 Superman. There's like this whole background, like real world law drama. The families of Superman's creator were suing DC, and so DC had to change Superman enough to make it something they could use. Well, this Superman, this was after that case had been settled, and this Superman is the pre-New 52 Superman, okay, and he's married to Lois Lane, okay. Now, when you jump to Rebirth, then they had an event because there were still 2 Clark Kents, and in the event, the 2 Clark Kents kind of like sucked together, you know, because it was a paradox. You couldn't have 2 Clark Kents, 2 Superman. They were converged. And the dominant Clark Kent is the pre-New 52 Superman, and that's the one that exists now. Okay, long story right here. But this is kind of a part of that lore about this Superman, and about him being married to Lois, as he is now, and about him having a son named Jonathan Kent, which I think issue number 1 and issue number, I think this is a 9-issue run, are the 2 keys related to Jonathan Kent. Like, one, his first appearance as a kid. Second one's first appearance when he has superpowers or something like that. So I'm low-key trying to pick this up. And then they had a bunch of Teen Titan books for my other favorite super son, Damian Wayne. Teen Titans, this would be the last volume, I think. This started with Rebirth. Damian Wayne became the leader, okay? And I think Damian Wayne is awesome. He's one of my kind of tentpole characters. He's my favorite Robin. So these are either books I needed for that run or they're upgrades because they're the variant covers that I really want. Alex Garner did a bunch of them, and I didn't realize Alex Garner has been around for decades. Like, he was doing Gen 13 covers. I just found that out. I got some dish soap on my... Sorry. I was doing dishes before this. Didn't realize I had dish soap on my arm. So we have Teen Titans issue number 22. Alex Garner cover. This next cover was more than $2. Like, this one was like $3. But this one was more than $2 because we have issue number 2, Lobo, Alex Garner cover. Issue number 36, Lobo and his daughter. This is Crush, Alex Garner cover. And then these were cheaper. We have issue number 37. This is an upgrade. I have the A cover. I wanted the B cover. Issue number 39, same thing. Oh, wait a minute. This is 38. Sorry. This 38 I didn't have. 39 I did have, but this cover is really cool. 39 and issue number 45. These were all the books that it's helping me fill in my Teen Titans run. It's not to my goal, and I could have been more strategic, more disciplined, but I picked them up anyways. So now we got some mail calls. We have 2. All right. So let me put these over here. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid my dog who's right here because she's a princess and she gets to lay where she wants. Okay, so this is a mail call. I was inspired by Mr. McGroovy. He was talking about some original art he purchased, and I thought that was really cool. And purchasing original art is not in my budget right now, and it's not a thing for me. But you know, I can get art that is pretty cool that people don't often look at. Okay, so here it was shipped in a Gemini mailer. So this is a promo poster for a DC event a few years ago. And promo posters on eBay, you can get like unused near mint promo posters for really, really cheap. And this was an event I really liked. And the promo poster is by an artist. It's one of the artists that I enjoy collecting when it fits my focus, when it fits the titles I have. So this is an Art Germ promo poster. Oh, they backed it up. For Dark Knight's Death Metal. So I'm going to pause, and it's going to be right there. All right, so I've opened up the box. I have 9 comic books. These are books that I'd seen. It was in a single sale on eBay. It was like for $70, which was more than I wanted to pay, but the buyer was taking offers. And so I oftentimes window shop on eBay. You know, I put that in my wish list, and then I moved on. A couple days later, I get an email from eBay. It's auto-generated saying, hey, this person will sell this for 40% off. And that was a really good price because these books, if we're looking at fair market value, are worth more than 40%. Let's kind of get into it. So I mentioned Supergirl is not one of the characters I collect, except I collect Michael Turner's run in Supergirl and Art Germ's run in Supergirl. This is issue number 8. This is by Michael Turner. This is Superman Batman. He did this consecutive run of books, and it's kind of like the ones that collectors look for from Michael Turner. So I was pretty happy with that. And then we got the variant cover, which is another Michael Turner cover. This is a sketch cover. So here's the A cover, B cover, and then we have the C cover, also by Michael Turner, of the Trinity. We have issue number 9, Superman and Supergirl. Issue number 10 with the Trinity again. This is a variant cover, but the barcode isn't showing it as a variant, so I don't know what this is. This is a Jim Lee cover. Yeah, Jim Lee and someone else maybe doing ink or colors. We have issue number 11, the Michael Turner cover. Very cool Dark Side. Issue number 12. And then this one is kind of the money book in this. This is issue number 13. So for all of these, I paid $5 a pop, which is a steal for these. So there you have it. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about my mail calls, about me hunting for comic books, picking up a print. I'm going to be honest, this is just my OCD collectorness. I need to iron out the creases. It's really bothering me, so I'm going to swap it out until I can do that. But thank you for listening to me ramble on about comic books. If you like my content, please do like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What are the artists that you really look for that are a part of those tentpole characters or runs or titles that if this cover artist is doing it, Michael Turner's one of them for me, but what is it for you that you really kind of seek, that you're hunting for? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, life is so much better when we read more comics.